Hello and welcome to Archie Luxury's Luxury Channel. Today I want to talk about two of my most beautiful pieces, and I've decided to put this video together because I'm going through a bit of a bad phase with my collection. I sold off my beautiful Vacheron and Constantine, and it's fucked the dynamics of my collection. So I'm taking stock, and what I've done is I've put on two new straps for my two top pieces. That's my Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date and my Patek Philippe Calatrava Grand Tourly 5107 in white gold. So I've actually fitted some new straps. Now for the Patek I've put on an alligator strap. It was a couple $100. It's not an original Patek strap. The Patek straps are fucking ridiculous in price. The Patek strap, the original strap I had, was actually getting a bit scruffy, so I've decided to take it off before it gets any worse. I want to keep the original strap in reasonable condition. And I've fitted this beautiful alligator strap, and I got to say, it looks absolutely $1 million. Putting a new strap on it's just really upped the piece. And for my Jaeger-LeCoultre, I've actually put on a ZRC. It's a calf strap, but it's in the ostrich pattern, so it's I'm not really into killing fucking wild animals to make straps out of. So I mean, if it's calf that looks like ostrich, hey, fuck it, who cares? But it just makes this Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso, it just brings it up. And this Jaeger-LeCoultre is actually a special piece because today is the 23rd of October, which is my birthday, and the Jaeger-LeCoultre is actually a present for next year's birthday. Now you might say, well, what the fuck am I doing with my present for next year's birthday? Well, Archie doesn't buy new. He wants bang per buck. And bang per buck means we need to buy way in advance second hand. And my wife very, very graciously decided to buy me this piece. And I just love it. It's a Jaeger-LeCoultre Grand Reverso Date in steel, and it's just, I just love it. I mean, I love my Patek, but the Reverso is cooler than the Patek. I mean, the Patek is too expensive to be really cool, and the Reverso, whilst it's not a cheap watch, it's just so sexy, and I think it's probably the coolest watch I've seen, and I just love it. And so there you can see the new strap I've fitted there to it. But the thing is with my collection, so I'm having a bit of a rethink on it. Because I sold my Vacheron off, it's fucked the dynamics up, and now I'm sort of saying, what pieces do I want? I'm taking stock of my collection, and I think the best way, where I have uncertainty, I've looked at some pieces and said, oh, I might flick this, might flick that. I've decided to take a reverse approach, do a 360, and I've actually said, which pieces would I not sell? Which pieces do I really, really love? And these pieces have come to mind. That's the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso and my Patek Philippe. So these are the two pieces in my collection I think you'd term keepers. And I love these two. And the funny thing is, with my collection itself there, I've actually put both of these pieces into the bank safe. That's right, I'm not going to touch them for a while. They're in the bank safe for security. I mean, these are two expensive pieces. And I've put them in the bank safe because I just don't like, when I've got them at home, I always worry, could they be stolen? Even though I've got a small safe at home, I just I want my really valuable stuff in a very secure spot. And you know, you might say, well, why don't you keep them at home with a better safe? And the answer is, well, what happens if you have an armed robbery or something like that? So I really, the bank safe is the best way to go. And it's given me time now to really, I suppose I'm pining for these pieces. I've missed them. I've had them away now for about a week and a half, and I'm really quite missing them. And the Jaeger-LeCoultre, you can see why I'm missing it. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's got the 8-day power reserve. It's a manual wind. It's just, I'm just missing it. And that's quite an interesting thing. If you're a bit uncertain, do nothing, take stock. and think about which pieces do you really love and which pieces do you not want to sell. And the Reverso's cool, but the Patek, I mean, that was my holy grail watch for a long time. I've had this watch for a couple of years, and unfortunately, being a middle class person, it's a lot of money, so you're always tempted to sell it to plug expenses and things like that there. But thank God I haven't actually sold it. I just love it so much. And you just look at that beautiful display back on the Patek, and it's just you can see why you chose it to start with, and it's just beautiful. I really love my Patek, and you can see why, just that attention to detail. White gold is such a cool metal. I haven't owned that much stuff in white gold, and when the Patek came up, I just knew it was for me when it was in white gold, because it's just the perfect piece. I paid a lot of money for this Patek. It wasn't cheap on the secondary market because it's a large size piece. It's a very modern, very classical, very gorgeous piece. Sometimes you've just got to say, fuck it, I'm going to buy the piece that sings to me, is the piece I love, and fuck getting the absolute super bargain that Archie normally insists on. And that's kind of a different way of shopping, but we'll see how it goes. I just really adore my Patek, and I'm having a bit of a rethink on my watches there. I'm thinking to myself, which pieces do I keep, which pieces do I sell? And I think these are two keepers. The Patek and the Jaeger-LeCoultre, they mean the most to me. Those two pieces, they're both leather strap pieces, and I've actually fitted some new straps to them. The Patek strap is okay, but I've actually fitted an alligator strap to it, and it's just brought both of these pieces up a notch. It's amazing. Fitting new straps just brings them up, and I suppose I'm very much taking stock of my collection, working out which pieces to keep and which pieces to get rid of, and I'm just having a bit of a rethink on everything. But you can see why I would say both of these critters are keepers, and I adore them. I think that's the Patek, so classic, so prestigious in white gold there, and the steel Reverso. I mean, does life get any better than this? It's just beautiful. I love both of these pieces, and I've actually got them in the bank safe for a while. The Jaeger-LeCoultre, I'm not going to get that back until until next year's birthday, when I turn 40. So I'm 39 today, so anyone wants to send birthday wishes to Archie is fine. 39-year-old Archie, 40 next year, and I'll take the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso out of the safe and wear it. And the Patek, I'll probably take the Patek out before that. I always like to wear the Patek at Christmas time. It just sets a really good tone. And I've taken some nature shots here. I've taken these pieces out to the park, and we've got some lawn shots here. And I just like to take some natural sort of shots there, and just to add a bit of variety. I like the way the green contrasts with the pieces there. But no, my collection itself, I'm having a rethink. It's funny. I just simple act of selling a piece has disrupted the whole thing, and I think I started saying to myself, well, I want to get rid of the Audemars ultra thin, the slim ultra thin watch, which I've actually listed on YouTube for sale. I've put a price of $2,400 US on it. I've also said, well, my Omega Speedmaster, it probably isn't, it's not prestigious enough to stay in Archie's collection. So I thought, thinking about selling it, and I was also humming and hawing, do I keep my quartz Audemars Royal Oak, because I really want the automatic version as opposed to the quartz version. But then I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I'm going about this the wrong way. Which pieces do I think are keepers? And I'd have to say my Patek and the Jaeger are the two keepers in the range, and you can see why. They're just gorgeous, they're big size, they're modern, but they're vintage. I think they are the two most perfect pieces. I mean, they're just two pieces which really, as soon as I saw them, they just sang to me. And I suppose the other pieces, what other pieces would I keep in my collection? Well, I'm very, very attracted to the Rolex Explorer 2 sports watch I've got. That's the Explorer 2, which is the 2 time zone piece. I've always loved the Explorer 2, and I particularly like mine with the white dial. And it's a Holes case. It's got the older type of clasp, and that's exactly what I wanted. I'm not someone who just follows stupid trends. I like to make my own mind up. So I suppose moving forward, I had 8 pieces. I sold one, so I've got 7 left. So the 3 keepers would be your Patek, the Jaeger-LeCoultre, that's the 2 you can see on the screen. The 3rd keeper would be my Rolex Explorer 2. That's definitely a keeper. Now then we start to say, well, what's the 4th piece? Well, I'll be honest with you, I think probably my two-tone Royal Oak, I'm actually attracted to keeping it. So I suppose that's the 4 pieces. And the Cartier Panther I've got, the large size steel Panther, which is also quartz. That was a gift from my wife, so that's probably the 5th piece. So, just looking at my collection, I mean, how many pieces do you want to have? What is a perfect collection? Do you need 30 pieces? Is it unlimited? I've gone up and down like a yo-yo with the number of pieces in my collection, and it's a hard thing. What is the perfect number of pieces? How many is enough? This is what you've got to decide yourself. How many pieces is enough? When do you know that you've reached that fantastic number? And I've bought and sold pieces all my life. As a collector, a collection is not a staid thing. It's something that is moving, and it's ever changing. And I've got to say, with my collection itself there, has often gone through periods where I've sold pieces out, and then I've bought new pieces. And I hope by buying and selling pieces, I eventually improve the quality of my collection. And it's funny, you buy a piece, a dream piece, and you think it will solve other things, but it then creates other dilemmas. A couple years ago, one piece that I miss a lot is my Breitling Navitimer. That was that was the old Navitimer 2, which was realistically, it was probably it was under 10 years old, and that's just the model name is old Navitimer 2, and I really miss it. I sold it to pay for the Patek, help pay for the Patek, and this is the whole thing there. You've got to look at it and say which pieces mean the most to you and which don't. You can see my Reverso here. This means a lot to me because this is a gift from my wife. I'm very, very lucky to get this beautiful piece. And Archie doesn't pay retail, so this here was a piece that my wife purchased for me, and we bought this through a friend who owned this piece, and I've always loved this Reverso. I think it's the most classic version. I've always said, for a Reverso, what I really want in a Reverso is steel. It needs to be on a leather strap. It needs to have a mechanical movement, and preferably it needs to be oversized. And this watch really just ticks all those boxes there itself. And I've got to say, with my collection, I've sold pieces and I've bought pieces, and some collectors just buy, they don't sell anything, and sometimes it's good to have gotten rid of pieces. I look at some of the things I've bought, and I remember I had an octagonal Santos. You think, fuck, that's an ugly fucker. You wouldn't really want to own that now. You know, times have changed, and this is the whole thing with the collection. You sort of go through a constant changes there. I suppose realistically, I would prefer a automatic Audemars Royal Oak instead of the two-tone quartz one I've got. That is a true point. The dilemma I've got is that mine is really nice. I've got box and papers for it, and it's the condition is first rate, and so, you know, I have a problem with selling it off because I'm thinking to myself, you know, I didn't pay a lot of money for it. It's a great AP, and you know, if I sell it off, would I get an AP Royal Oak automatic which is as nice a condition? So these are the dilemmas you have. So there we go. That's my thoughts on my collection. These are two keepers, my Jaeger LeCoultre and my Patek, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks very much.